Welcome to Reflection with Dr. Mark. And today we are on our episode 5, the conversation most parents tries to avoid, which is how to talk to your child about body parts. Are you a daddy? Are you a mother? How do you talk to your female children? How do you talk to your male children about their body parts? This is very important and critical. So we decided to draw our touch light on it today to see how far we are going on it. There is one conversation many parents know they should have, but I wonder why they will keep dodging from such an important, critical conversation. Now, I ask myself, is it because they don't care? No, of course they care. Is it because they don't want to have the conversation? Why not? But the thing is, they don't know how to start that conversation. They wait, they avoid it, and they hope. And they come to the conclusion that, hey, leave her alone. I know my child will figure it out. But can I shock you? Like I always say, silence doesn't protect a child. It is conversation that protects that child. Because when you have conversation with your child about a particular matter, it gives her the confidence to speak out. And when the child begins to speak out, then half of the problem is solved. I drew the inspiration from this episode from a conversation I had with one parent some years ago. And she met me and said, I wanted to talk to my child about safety. But the truth is, I didn't know the right words to use. I didn't know how to start the conversation with her. So she kept postponing it. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. And this lingered, the avoidance, the hoping, until one day she realized that her child had already been exposed to things beyond their age that she never explained to her. And this is more common than many people will admit, because children are learning every day things beyond them, either from you, from someone else, or even from the world. They are truly and really learning every day things that are unimaginable. When you look at real experiences, stories, and conversations that people have online, many adults are saying the same thing. They say something like, I wish someone had told me this earlier, because confusion oftentimes comes from silence. So let's take away the fear and see how we can discuss this conversation right away. Step one is start simple and not scary. You don't need big words. You could just start simple like, your body belongs to you. Now, that simple sentence will go a long way, because that sentence, that phrase, it's powerful. Do you know why this is powerful? Because most parents teach their children how to obey adults, how to obey elders, but they are never taught how to take ownership of what is theirs and who they are. Step two is, as a parent, teach your child what we call private boundaries. You must help the child understand that certain parts of their body are private, and they must take total control and total ownership of that part of the body. Now, again, this should not be done in a fearful way. No, not at all. But it should be done in a respectful and confident way. Now, funny enough, some parents avoid this completely, only for them to realize later that their children or their child does not know or cannot decipher between what is okay and what is not okay, how to say yes and how to say no, when to say yes and when to say no. Step three is remove fear from speaking. Tell the child clearly, you can tell me anything and you'll not run into trouble. This is because many children stay silent, not because they don't want to speak, but because they are afraid of the reaction. They are afraid of the aftermath of the discussion. They really want to speak to you. They are craving to talk to you. They are craving to speak out. But the thing is, they are afraid of the aftermath. They're afraid of the reaction. If I speak out, what will happen? So they would rather stay silent instead of speaking out. Step four, use everyday moment. Yes, this conversation doesn't have to be a serious, big meeting that you must make a schedule or a timetable for. You must use normal moments, use everyday moments like watching TV, watching one of those cartoons, or when a related issue occurs as to what you want to discuss with them. At that point, they become most relaxed and they feel free to discuss any matter with you without fear. the most important thing, fear should not be part of the component. Step 5 is normalize, say no. You must teach your child something very, very important, which is saying no. Let them know it's okay to say no. This is difficult in many homes, but it's okay and necessary. It's a necessity for you to teach your child that it's okay to say no, even if it's to an adult. Now, after listening to many parents, several conversations, both physical and virtual, I've come to realize something, that the goal is not to scare them, but the goal is to prepare them even without fear. This is because a prepared child is more safe than a silent child. You don't have to start perfect. You just have to start. Because one honest conversation is enough to give your child confidence and a voice that will help them throughout life, anywhere, anytime, any day. In many homes, these conversations are seen as uncomfortable or probably unnecessary. But the truth is, silence doesn't preserve innocence. Rather, it creates confusion and makes the child more vulnerable. This is why in the next episode, we are going to be discussing something critical again. What to do when your child tells you something that shocks you. Now, if this episode has helped you in any way, then subscribe, share it, because some other parents need to see this. Because some parents out there, many parents out there are still avoiding this conversation. Not because they don't want to engage their children in such conversation, but because they don't know how to start it. Because the conversation we avoid today are often the conversation that our children need most. And if you want to keep learning how to protect your child, then subscribe now. Click the notification bell, because this is a journey and a conversation that every parent must be on. Thank you for joining the Reflect Room again with Dr. Mark. Watch for the next episode.